Hi, I'm Emo Kitsune, mom, small business owner. If you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about why artists draw and why AI defenders prompt. I have another AI video commentary called 10 Things AI Will Never Do under that video, which you can check out here. I realized that there is a disconnect in the debates when artists and AI defenders butt heads with each other. We both have different goals for why we make what we make and how some of our arguments against each other just doesn't apply. In my humble opinion, human artists will still come out on top because most of the reasons why people use generative AI is often for shallow and greedy reasons, and they assume that that's the same goal that us artists have. While chatting, I'll be cutting out some stickers in the background. It's all stuff from my favorite fandoms. There will be a segment where I'm making crafty envelopes. Any orders that I do of multiple items usually come in these fun envelopes that I hand make. For you guys who like seeing me block print in the background, don't worry, I have another AI related video planned, and I'm going to be showing some more block printing because I need to make some more block print notebooks for my shop a little bit later. So that's going to be in a future video. But enough yapping, let's begin. Actually, I lied. Before we begin and dive into the top of the video, I want to comment about a few things on my last video. I want to say that I'm happy that it resonated with a lot of you guys. And for those of you guys who disagreed with me, thank you for taking the time to write out your counter arguments in an intellectual way. I appreciate the comments that left timestamps as well. I apologize if we didn't have a back and forth. I have a policy of not arguing with strangers on the internet. Some words of wisdom given to me by my father. A man convinced against his will holds the same opinion still. The point of a debate is to listen and give someone something to think about. I personally still try out various AI models and I kind of see what the latest custom models can do. And many of the people defending AI aggressively don't actually use it, which is like, huh? So don't at me, because I'm in the generative AI space and I'm well aware of the various tools and the basics of how it works. I'm not an expert, but I've used it. I've also seen how it's evolved and improved. Not to mention, I occasionally go into AI forums and Discord groups and read up on discussions with people who actually use it and often complain about the limitations that they counter. However, now that I've confessed at being at the devil's sacrament, you're probably scanning over my avatar to find evidence of AI usage, mostly because I used the wrong brush size, and when my character changes their expression, it looks a little bit off, whatever. Maybe you'll check out my speed paints and galleries to see if I'm using one of those fake speed paint tools. Because surely there is no way I would be in AI spaces and using AI occasionally and not have it in my artwork. It's way too tempting. It's either you are 100% an AI defender and you use it in your art, or you are 100% anti-AI and you don't even touch it with a 10-foot pole. By the way, for all you artists out there, don't let people troll you by accusing you of using AI. You are innocent until proven guilty, and you don't need to spend 20 minutes of your precious time to respond to a 5-second accusation. The only person who is allowed to accuse me of using AI is the friendly neighborhood artist, and if you ain't them, then bite me! I don't want to use AI to create my art, and it's for some of these reasons we're going to go into right now, so let's start. Cheap clout versus earned accomplishment. One of the most saddest reasons that some AI bros for using AI is for easy clout. These are the people who proclaim themselves AI artists, who declare that AI democratizes art, but also hide the fact that they're using AI to the general public and soak in all that positive attention that their generative images get, so long as no one points out and no one finds out that's AI. These people are just sad, in my opinion. They're sad because these are people who could have otherwise been artists like us, but are either lazy or, dare I say, cowards because they're afraid of making bad art when they start drawing. Sometimes they themselves bully and look down on new artists. Or even artists having fun drawing what they want. They see it as cringe. They see beginner art as cringe. And so generative images allows these type of AI bros to render deceptively impressive illustrations, skip the cringe of being bad at art, and soak in all of that positive attention. What I don't understand as well is the argument about democratizing art, like we artists are somehow hoarding art knowledge or something. So many artists online put out tutorials, tips, heck, even free bases for you to trace over if you don't want to draw. You don't need to go to an expensive art school. We're out here sharing the knowledge for free and helping each other out. But again, it's not about that for these AI bros. That's an excuse. They're too lazy and too scared to be bad at something before getting good, and AI lets them skip that. Every artist, including the artists from whom this AI models steal their artwork from, went through a period of being quote-unquote bad. By the way, it's still stealing. You need to feed art to train a model, and most artists do not consent to that. It is not fair use. There's a lot of people out there who think just because an image is online, that means it's public domain. I'd like to challenge you to take a Shrek meme and say it's fair use and Disney doesn't own it. Go on, I dare you to.
Do it! You won't.
Don't test me! I will! I'm doing it right now!
Generative AI needs artwork often ideally without approval or payment from the artist for the technology to not only work but to continue to quote-unquote improve, and these people know that, and they're doing mental gymnastics to justify it. But moving on, social media. I don't know who needs to hear this, but don't let the people who make fun of you or your art style get to you. F them. Bullies are often people who have to tear people down to bring themselves up. They are sad, they are pathetic, not you. You don't need to turn to generative AI because you're too scared of making bad art. If you're feeling the pressure of social media making you feel bad about your art, you can walk away. I promise the internet is more than just like 3 giant social media companies. You can find healthier spaces and communities to be creative that will help encourage and foster your art. I've personally found really chill communities on Discord, on Artfight, on Blue Sky. Unveil is the new kid on the block and they're pretty chill. Even Tumblr, yeah, I know, I made a whole video, I'll link it up below, saying how Tumblr is actually pretty chill, assuming you are curating your feed properly. If anyone has any suggestions for what you think are like wholesome, positive communities for new and budding artists to share their artwork, please say so. I don't use most social media, so I personally have no pressure to put out something that looks quote unquote good for the likes and the views. And I'm not gonna be dishonest and say that all AI looks like slop. A lot of it is, but most of us have clicked on a piece of artwork thinking how gorgeous it is, only to be disappointed to learn that it was made by AI, therefore proving that not all of it is technically slop. But even still, for us artists, we're not interested in the quick, cheap clout. We want the accomplishment of creating something by our own hands, right? Like the thing that really gets me is imagine telling these same AI bros, oh, why not get a machine to play a game for you? You can have a machine play a game, get to the final boss, and then you can go gloat to all your friends how you beat the game. If that sounds stupid, that's how us artists feel. We don't want a machine to do the thing for us. It's about the journey. It's about the struggle. It's about being bad and improving. It's not about the final destination in the same way that it's not about beating and getting to the final boss in a game. I think Microsoft was touting having an AI help people like beat games like that. It doesn't make any sense. Like the point is like these AI bros should know better. Everybody, whether you're pro or anti-AI, you know the personal positive accomplishment when you work on something with your own 2 hands and you made something. Every single human can experience that. You can experience that when you play a video game. You can experience that when you make a business, not with AI, when you make a business. And so I think that there's a disconnect where the AI bros, it goes completely over their head where they don't understand that for a lot of us artists, it's about the process and the struggle and getting to the final destination of saying, yes, I can draw this character that looks maybe not quite as deceptively good as this AI art, but it's pretty dang close. We want the accomplishment. Y'all just want the clout. Healing versus hustle. Most of us artists kind of need to create something to heal emotionally, whereas most AI bros are pursuing generative images for the hustle. Many of the times when they say it's over for artists, these AI bros have a very narrow and shallow view that all art is something to be consumed and or content or a means to make profit. Yes, art does serve a commercial purpose, and AI generative images can do that very well on the cheap. Honestly, I pity these kind of people throwing away their own creative potential for the pursuit of money. No, prompting is not creative. It's logic, no different from programming. You're trying to solve a puzzle by figuring out which combo of words you need to get the machine to spit out the image you want. It is unfathomable to these people that some of us need art for us. The process of creating brings us comfort and a healthy escape. Art helps us process trauma, grief, loneliness, pain, helps us get through any neurodivergencies, and Lord knows with the state of the world today, we need art more than ever, like human art. And yes, I'm sure there are some people that are going to turn to AI to do these things, but again, that is the minority, right? In this video, I'm talking about the majority of why people use AI, not the 1 or 2 exceptions that are probably ready to comment in the video right now saying, well, I use AI for that. You know what? I'm happy for you, fam. But you are in the major minority here. I'm a woman, and most people simping hard for AI are guys. There is a big gender divide in the people who are super pro AI and the people who aren't. Obviously, there are exceptions, but let's be real. The realm of the AI illustration is a boys' club, with an exception being the stay-at-home moms, usually Gen X or millennials, using AI to make print-on-demand products because it's a good way to make passive income to pay the bills. But the AI girlies aren't out here defending AI. This is why we say AI bros and not a gender-neutral term. And I'm gonna poke at hornet's nest here and say culturally, men are pressured to discard anything emotional, discard anything fun, discard anything relaxing in pursuit of the never-ending work grind to keep making more and more money. And they're fooling themselves thinking that they'll make enough money to retire because, joke's on them, they never retire. They just make more money. Which is why, like, as us artists, right, especially women, when we try to argue the emotional and the humanity behind art, the AI bros they don't care. No heckin' clue. They have no idea. And this isn't necessarily a gender thing, right? Because anyone can be more in tune with their emotional side, right? You understand the humanity and the emotional aspect behind art, both for why you create it and also when you look at and experience art from somebody else. The AI bros don't give a shit, right? And so that's why as artists, this argument is just gonna fall completely flat and I wouldn't even bother because we're coming from two different worlds here. Girls, the boys are not okay, but that's a discussion for another channel and we don't have time to unpack all that. Can't afford art versus, you know what, here are some alternatives. There's also a big disconnect between artists and AI defenders. I'm not talking about companies because we know damn straight that most companies can't afford an artist. In fact, a lot of AI bros can afford artists, they just choose not to. I'm just talking about the average person who would want custom art and can't afford it, because getting custom art is expensive, yes. Art takes time and skill, and us artists want to get paid for people essentially borrowing our skill and talent to bring their ideas to life. Also, notice how I said custom art, because there are tons of art you can experience for free, and so saying art in the broad sense is inaccessible is being so disingenuous. What these AI bros want, the can't afford art AI bros, they want to bring their ideas to life without paying someone for their talent and labor to do it. And also, some of the people getting AI for these reasons are not all AI bros. They were never going to pay an artist to begin with. They're just looking for quick, cheap art without thinking too much about it, which is a shame. But honestly, I see no reason for us artists to give people like this a hard time because oftentimes they don't generate AI images very often and they don't care about the quality. So it's pointless arguing quality. And contrary to the comments in my previous video where people were like assuming that I'm anti-AI, arguing, what about people who can't afford it? You're an elitist. That was not what my previous video was about, and it doesn't bother me personally. My issue is with pro-AI people flooding the internet and marketplaces with AI slop that is useless to most people, not someone making the occasional AI generative images of their D&D character, or even for their business, right? So I've had a few of my clients ask me very sheepishly if it was okay if they used AI as references that they generated of their characters, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And they still come to me to draw their characters because they respect my talent and they realize the limitations that AI has, which was the whole point of my other video. Trust me, I've been there, right? You have an idea for something, you don't have the talent, AI is a good shortcut, but you don't have to walk that road. I'm gonna say personally, I have an idea for a novel I would like to write. I have no time or money, I am not a writer. I mean, I could write, it's gonna be dog shit, and I want my story to be more professional. I'm also very busy, I'm a mom to a toddler. The economy is absolutely crushing me. I don't have the time to just pick up a pen and learn. Also, most of my skill points goes into my art. I don't have enough skill points to spend on my writing stat. So whatever I write would be laughable garbage. So I get it. I understand. And along comes AI tempting me, like that one dude you guys may know on YouTube hyping up how it's really easy to use AI to write novels. And it's totally ethical because it's not technically stealing because it can't one for one spit out it's the whole thing. I'll admit, I tried out. I was so close to doing it because I'm like, well, it's not like generative images because it's words and text, right? But then I realized the simple fact that you can request the AI to write in the style of an author means it was trained on copyrighted material. Just because an AI doesn't spit out an exact replica of what was written or drawn does not mean it was not stolen. That's the whole conversation. But point is, it was so tempting. I paid the money. I tried it for a few months. It was okay. No, I lied. It was pretty bad. It was bad. And I told myself, Emo, you're better than this. Artists, writers, voice actors, musicians, we should be unified against this unethical use of our work. The only reason why people turn to AI is because they don't have time to create and practice their art due to our capitalistic hellscape. Have a long think about it, right? See, people are so close, right? Because they'll say, but I can't afford an artist. You know what? Maybe you should be able to afford an artist. I swear, most of us are not that expensive, and we would be affordable if we were all getting paid properly. Okay, like you're so close, right? That is not the reality of our situation where people are being paid enough to afford luxuries like custom art. If I'm being honest, AI writing is actually pretty competent. For normies, it's no different from generative images. It's very impressive, and you can probably get away with it so long as you don't forget to accidentally leave your prompt in the final print. However, it's still slop. It's hollow, it has no unique voice to it, it has a ton of limitations, and my idea that I have deserves better, right? But I'm telling you my long story because I want to explain that I've been there. I understand you have a creative vision, you can't afford it. AI is right there. It's cheaper, it's easier, but it is going to be dog shit. And your ideas deserve better, right? Art to leave an impact and art to be consumed and thrown away. There are some people, i.e. the AI bros, who see art as nothing more something to be consumed. This is the one that really bothers me because it's really dystopian. Now, to be clear, I think it's valid that we all need times to turn off our brains and just consume. I'm not going to be pretentious in this case. Shit sucks in society right now, and sometimes all we can do is consume after work or school. But what I don't like is that people who do that all the time to escape reality and running away from thinking and contemplating, right? I think there's a time to turn your brain off, but there are also times where you need to give your brain something to think about. God, I sound like such a mom right now. I'm so sorry. People who see art as nothing, as something as a product to be consumed, are just very sad. And I hope they find something that gives them purpose. That's not why most of us make art. It's pointless for us artists to argue concepts like hard work that went behind artwork, the meaning, because normies don't care. And there's really nothing we can do to convince them otherwise. Honestly, I'm not mad or angry at people like this, just disappointed. It sounds pretentious, but some artists have a higher purpose for creating art that's not just mindless consumption and feeding it to an algorithm for les epic upvotes. We have a desire to connect with others on a human level without words, to share our thoughts, feelings, and experiences. And there are people who always seek out art where they'll have a connection to the artist and the image they made by their own hands. This is why art used in activism for people who care about a cause and the greater good are usually almost handmade, like zines, protest signs. On the opposite end of that political spectrum, it's AI generated because it's not for the greater good, but I'm not going to comment further on that because we're not going to spiral into all that political mess right now. If you know about the AI bearded belly dancers, you know what I'm talking about. I also want to note that not every single piece of art needs to be created with a deeper meaning behind it. It's fine to just make art just because, you know, for fun, for consumption. The point of the video is to highlight why human artists create and why it cannot be replicated by AI. Artists need to realize the reasons why people turn to AI and the reasons why we draw is completely different with completely different goals. And oftentimes when we're butting heads in the comment section, we're speaking from completely different places for what we want to accomplish. I really do think a lot of AI bros are kind of devoid in creativity and to be subjective here, taste. Like, I'll get comments like, well, AI models can make really impressive stuff. And I'm like, oh no, you have no taste. This is the other disconnect when talking to AI bros is they don't realize while generative images are deceptively pretty, it's uninspiring, it's basic, and it's boring to some of us artists. And it's very impossible to communicate with someone with a limited imagination and creativity why their prompted image is slop. And whatever we have in our heads is 100 times more interesting than whatever a generative image can make. I swear, I have been inundated with so much AI art that is all starting to look the same, which is a shame because remember, all AI is based off of an artist's art style. So I'm always gonna clown on generative AI images, but I'm not like aggressively anti-AI like some of the comments in my previous video assumed I was. I take pride in being an artist. I have fun creating stuff, even if it's a pain in the butt. If I'm able to sell things that I make, then that's a bonus and it makes me feel good that someone saw value in what I made. I'm not interested in shortcuts. I'm not interested in maximizing profits. I'm not interested in plagiarizing someone else's art to make my art look better for clout. That's not why I became an artist. That's not why I started drawing. However, I do think that the AI generative images as a technology is impressive and interesting. See, that's the thing as well, is I think that AI bros, they say that AI art is impressive. To me, it's not, see, I said AI art, I'm sorry. The AI images are not impressive. The technology is impressive for how he made it, but not the actual outcome, in my humble opinion. But I'm keeping my eye on the technology. I'm also keeping my eye on how the average person uses it, right? Because you got the hardcore AI bros, but what's really going to determine what becomes of generative images is how the average person uses it. Instead of us artists rolling over and giving up, we need to understand and double down on what makes human art invaluable to ourselves and to others. We're gonna be okay. Don't listen to the trolls and bots trying to break our spirit. And to all the AI people watching this, the main reason why we're pushing back is because we believe the common ambitions of AI generative images is misplaced, it's ghoulish, it's dishonest, and y'all are taking over the internet space in a very obnoxious way. You guys can do better and help us out here, right? But to end on a positive note, artists, we're gonna be okay. We have different goals and different values that do not align with the people who make generative images, and those goals and values are not gonna go away. Thanks for watching my video. I bet your fingers are hot right now and ready to comment, but you know what? I'm proud that you got to the end before you hit that submit button before commenting. I try to respond to most of my comments, whether you agree or disagree with me. I do want there to be a discussion, so tell me what inspired you to be an artist, or if you regularly use AI to prompt images or otherwise, tell me why. Thanks for making it to the end, and I will see you next time.